Hey friends, Junior Staggs with Auctioneer University, and I can't tell you how excited I am to be one of the sponsors of a brand new show that's going to be produced by my friends at Brewer Street Mafia and Kel Media. It's called SportsCast with Jeremy Buckelew. It'll be recorded live every Sunday night at 7:30. So if you're into sports, I like Alabama football. Maybe you're a Tennessee fan. Maybe you're into one of those foreign sports like soccer or cricket or rugby. I'm sure he'll cover it all, from local sports to professional sports and everything in between, every Sunday night, 7:30. While you're at it, go over there and give him a like. And if you're thinking about becoming an auctioneer, check out our website, Auctioneer U. That's auctioneer, the letter U.com.
In a world that moves way too fast, there's one place that feels like home. Tater's Place in Paris, Tennessee, where the sizzle of a smash burger meets the sound of laughter, and every plate tells a story. Bring the family, make memories, and taste the love in every bite. Live music, real people, and unforgettable food. That's Tater's Place, 3615 Highway 79 North. Find the flavor you've been missing at Tater's Place. Come and feel what you've been hungry for.
Are you looking for a fence that gives you peace of mind? At All Star Fence Company, we don't just build fences, we build confidence. Whether it's keeping your family safe, protecting your property, or simply adding curb appeal, All Star delivers unmatched quality, dependable service, and lasting results. Locally owned and trusted across West Tennessee, Kentucky, and beyond, we're the name homeowners count on for reliability and strength since 1971. All-Star Fence Company, your first line of defense and your best choice for peace of mind. Visit allstarfenceandsupply.com today.
Good evening, and welcome to SportsCast with Jeremy Buckelew. I'm your host, obviously, Jeremy Buckelew. Good to have you with us. This evening, we are moved over from our regular set to Mike's set for the Mike Weatherford show that he does every Tuesday night. And so got a couple of guests here with me that we're going to introduce here in a minute. But first, I want to thank our sponsors for bringing you SportsCast each and every week. Special thanks to AuctioneerU.com and Junior Staggs and that group over at Auctioneer U that do a great job. If you want to learn to be an auctioneer, say it every week, there's nobody better than Junior Staggs to learn from. And so go check that out, auctioneeru.com, and then all the folks out at Tater's for all their support. Tater's is more than just a restaurant. Of course, it's a bike shop as well, but got an outstanding menu out there at Tater's on the Lake Highway. Encourage you to stop by and see those folks. Thank them for supporting SportsCast. And I got a new sponsor this week in All Star Fence. I want to thank Jeff and all the crew out at All Star Fence for coming on board to sponsor us here on SportsCast. And if you need a fence, again, nobody better to call than Jeff Archie and All Star Fence here in town. And they're a local company and do work all over Tennessee and Kentucky and beyond, and can get you fixed up with whatever you need for all your fencing needs. So thank you to them. We appreciate them. Thanks to Mike Weatherford for the studio and Kel Media, everything they do for us here to bring you SportsCast every week. We are live from the Brewer Street Mafia studios. I've got a special guest host with me tonight. If you ever listen to us do basketball games, you're like, uh-oh, we're going to be trouble tonight. But I'm glad to welcome my special co-host tonight, Mr. Sam McDaniel, to the studio. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I don't know what to do with my hands. This is a rare occurrence where normally I don't have to worry about that.
I was going to say, normally it's just our voices people here. They don't get to, or don't have to see our faces.
I have a face made for radio, so it's a wonderful thing. But I've also promised Whitney to try to limit the number of times she texts in and ask you to quieten down to under 5 for the night.
If it's anything like basketball season, my phone's going to be blowing up on a regular basis. But anyway, Sam, good to have you with us, co-hosting tonight.
Glad to be here.
Sam does a lot for Henry County, but I brought him in tonight because we're talking soccer. As Junior said in the intro, one of those foreign sports, a lot of guys just, when we think of football, we think of American football, but got some soccer to talk about here tonight. So we're thrilled to have with us Coach Dylan Poole from the Henry County Patriots. We've also got Jacob Davis and Gavin Evans here with us tonight. Guys, welcome to SportsCast. Glad you could make it, and we're thrilled you're here.
Thanks for having me. Love the show. Love what you're doing, and listen to all of them, and I've enjoyed every one of them.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We're just, trying to have a good time and bring people a sports show that they can just sit down and talk sports. That's all we like to do. Guys, had a long night with prom, I guess, last night, but we're glad you're here and made it in, and hopefully have a good time while you're here. So we were supposed to have Coach Beard on here with us, but Coach Beard texted me on Thursday and had forgotten that, or not forgotten, he thought that his engagement photos were earlier today than what they were. The engagement photos were actually at 6:30 in Milan. And so he's like, I told him, I said, Coach, I don't blame you one bit, because if you miss those engagement photos, there will probably be no need to book a wedding photographer later on in the year.
Yeah, that just shows his wisdom as a head coach right there. He's a wise man. He made the right choice for sure. So
you say that though, and the first lesson from this is ask your bride to be if it's okay to begin with. Like, get it on the calendar ahead of time.
That's a good point. Always check with those. But no, so I understood. I hate that Coach Beard couldn't be with us tonight, but I think we're still going to have a good show, and I'm looking forward to it. So we're going to start, Coach Poole, with you, with you being technically the assistant coach, I guess, at Henry County Soccer. First of all, y'all are having an outstanding season, right? This is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the stats show that this is the best soccer season that the Henry County boys varsity soccer squad has had.
Yeah, in a while.
That's what I've heard, and I'm just pretty spoiled coming in year one, and I just thought this was the norm, I guess. So.
Just take all the credit for it, Coach. That's what you need to do. It's what I bring to the table, right? It's Coach Poole and what he brings to the table. But no, so your record is what? You're 12-3 on the season, won the district, and one of the reasons I'm glad that I could get you on tonight is because the district tournament actually starts tomorrow night, but we don't play till Tuesday. We'll play the winner of Northwest and Kenwood, I believe. Yes, that's right. Yep. And so, there's the bracket there. You can see Henry County at the number 1 seed, and then Dixon and West Creek will play on Tuesday night. But tomorrow night, Northwest and Kenwood play in the play-in game. And so just having a great season. I almost forgot. I don't know how I forget my own show stuff, but up until this past week, my best thing I had seen this week was going to be y'all's win against Kenwood that not only solidified, you already had first place locked up, but just dominating the district this year. But I had to change it. So my best thing I've seen this week, the Henry County varsity baseball squad was down 6-2 to West Creek in their elimination game on, was it Friday night? It was Friday night. And they scored 8 runs in the bottom of the 6th to win that game 10-6. It was a great ball game. The last time we played West Creek, I think it was my best thing I had seen this week because we scored in the bottom of the 7th to beat them then. But they came back in the elimination game in that tournament and battled. And Henry County was just really a little bit flat and came out and just wasn't hitting the ball that great. And West Creek was up and had all the momentum. 6-2 going in the bottom of the 6th, and then Henry County came back and won that game. So that is my best thing I've seen this week. Sam, we'll start over here. What's the best thing that you have seen this week?
So my best sports thing, I'll go ahead and take the soccer game back, the Kenwood win. That was probably the best sporting event. Okay. I've had the TV off. I take that back. I watched a little bit of the Clippers Nuggets game, third quarter. The Nuggets were playing. The Clippers had decided they were going home very, very early in that game. And then the best non-sporting thing of the week was Theo Vaughn on Saturday.
All right.
So
good times. Yep. Can't beat a good comedy show.
Absolutely. Right? It was great. He had 3 opening acts, all local acts that were going to be playing at Zany's in the next couple weeks. Uh-huh. So that was good. And good food, good time. Yeah. Good evening. Yeah, absolutely.
Coach Poole, what's the best thing you saw this week?
Well, I've seen a lot of Theo Vaughn. I got a couple of coaches back from Huntington. We send back and forth, Facebook or Instagram stuff, Theo Vaughn. So I got a couple today. But personally, I'll start with the personal one and then I'll do a sports one. But personally, had a weather delay or weather rain out Friday night. Weather, we didn't have practice, and it was actually really good because you get into the end of the season, you're at the ball fields every night riding buses back, and so it was really good to just spend time with Maddie and Kaylin. And Maddie was sitting at the table, and she goes, "Did you know?" And she just goes on about like Palm Sunday that she learned in church
Sunday
2 weeks
school.
ago.
That's why those Sunday school lessons are so important, right?
Well, it just kind of opened my eyes. I was like, wow, she's like really taking stuff in now, And someone got baptized. Little Kyson at our church, he got baptized, and she's like, "Well, I want to get baptized." I was like, "Well, that's great." Well, it just kind of opened up the door to that.
Absolutely.
So that's better than anything you can hear. For me personally.
Right.
And then, but sports wise, actually I'd wrap in all of the seniors, cause we had, Gavin, he signed, to play college soccer. And then, Jacob had already signed at Union a couple weeks ago. He also got 30 goals against Kenwood. Was it the Kenwood game? Yeah. He eclipsed that. And then, Jack Todd, he signed and got a presidential scholarship at Dyersburg, so at Dyersburg State. So, 3 seniors right there doing, big stuff for us. And one of my old coaches, Coach Hale, he always said, it's tough to win with C and D players. It's easier to win with A and B players. It's like we got a kid signing for Union, Jack Todd getting a presidential scholarship. So, one of the reasons why I think we're successful is we got smart players on the field. So
it helps tremendously to have that kind of talent, and I think they're fun to watch as well. We've seen some kids who struggle, especially in basketball. Sam and I see it all the time. Just teams that cannot compete, and it's nice when you've got the talent and can go out there and not only compete and win, but put on a good show while you're doing it. And you guys put on a good show while you're doing it. I talk to people all the time who are like, I don't know much about soccer, and I'll tell you, I am not a soccer expert by any stretch of the imagination. I enjoy watching it. Know a little. I know just enough to be dangerous with it. You know what I mean? But you guys are fun to watch when it comes to what you do on the soccer field. And so usually I'll send out a reminder. I don't know do y'all have a best thing I've seen this week, or can you think of something that's the best thing that you've seen?
Can't be from
this
prom
week?
last night.
Can't be. Gotta say prom as a whole.
Sure.
I feel like that was best for me this week. And then sports wise, Nugget Clippers game, watching that whole series, and then come down to a blowout.
Considering he took my daughter to prom, that should have been his answer.
I didn't even think about that. I did not set this up on purpose. With I didn't even think about that. That was just pure happenstance.
I thought about telling Jacob and at least letting him have a little heads up, but I opted.
I wasn't trying to trap you or anything, Jacob. I promise.
Apologies, I had no idea.
No hard feelings.
Gavin, how about you? Best thing you saw this week?
Sports-wise, probably just coming out. We came out really flat against Kenwood. Mm-hmm. I know y'all kind of both already touched on that, but we came out really flat against Kenwood in that whole first 45 minutes or 40 minutes of the first half. So coming together as a team to put up 3 goals in that second half to come out on top 4-1 was really, really special.
Sure.
Personal was probably just prom that whole day because we had an early pre-prom, and I was a little late to it because I took a nap after my haircut, and it was like 3 hours long. So that's probably my personal favorite.
There's nothing wrong with a good 3 hour. It was a little bit like overcast and rainy some yesterday, so it was a perfect day for a 3 hour nap. Nothing wrong with that. Don't ever apologize for it.
Right.
So let's talk about that Kenwood game just for a minute, because you're right. Y'all did come out a little bit flat. Kenwood got up early on you, 1-0, and then y'all just battled back. Soccer is a game of communications. Like if you're not out there and you're just like watching it on TV or something like that, you can't hear all the talking going on. But like y'all have to constantly be telling each other what's going on. So in that Kenwood game, talk about like how y'all were able to adjust and come back and get back in that ball game with being down 1-0. It wasn't really an early goal, I don't think, was it? It was kind of a fluke goal at that. But talk about that and how like y'all's communication is vital to y'all being able to get back and take care of that stuff.
Well, I think just first of all, it's important to come out and play with, intent. And to start that game, we really had no intent of just walking in there and winning. I mean, we all thought that it was just going to be an automatic win, all that. And so to see them score on us first and kind of really woke us up, made us realize that we're not playing the best we really can. And I think we needed to go into halftime, address everything, and then that's kind of what turned us on in the second.
So you had a hat trick in that game, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
I guess you had a true hat trick, I guess, because, again, I know just a little bit about soccer, enough to be dangerous, as I said. And I know there's, like, some soccer purists think that if you don't get all 3 goals in the same half, that's a true hat trick. But I've always counted as 3 goals in a game as a hat trick, right? I mean, that's what it is in hockey. That's the same for soccer. And so do you know how many hat tricks you have this year?
No, not off the top of my head.
Well, let me answer me this then. Somebody told me that, and this may just be a made-up stat, I don't know. Whitney was like, are you going to check that? I'm like, well, no, I'm not going to check it. Maybe he'll know, I hope. But someone told me that you are the leading goal scorer in the state. Is that true?
Right now, yeah.
So right now, Jacob Davis is the leading goal scorer in varsity soccer in the state of Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
How's that make you feel?
Pretty good, if I'm being honest, but...
I was going to, is there pressure on you? Like, do you feel that if you're going to be the leading goal scorer, well, now every game I got to go out and get 2 or 3?
There's pressure, but it's not really something I think about while I'm playing. The most important thing to me is winning.
Okay.
So it's not really something I go out there and think, I have to score 3, I have to score 4. I just go out there with the intent of us winning.
Gotcha. And then so, Gavin, you're on the opposite end. You're the goalkeeper for the squad. You go with the full pink unit, which is impressive. I told you I was going to give you a hard time, and my nickname for you kind of is the goalkeeper Casanova, because I think there was one game in particular that you had a fan club down at the end on your end of the field the whole game, and. Do you want to talk about that, or would you rather just kind of gloss over that and not mention it?
Nah, so, some things that our team likes to do when we're up by a lot, or any other sports team, is you'll go on Max Preps and you look up these players' names, because you don't really know those players' names you're going against. So when you look them up in game and you just yell out their name or whatever, so I guess the Dyersboro girls thought that would be funny. Again, we came out flat that game a little bit the first half, and then that second half we put 3 goals on them, so it was enjoyable. So it was just a unique experience for sure.
Coach, you can talk about this. Yeah, we got a good picture. I stole those off of Annie Grace's Instagram, but some action shots there of Gavin and Jake. I don't even know which game that is, but
Augustine's a scrimmage.
Yeah, that's a scrimmage first of the year. So, but and then Thomas there working on somebody. He got the captain's armband. You can see Thomas and Gavin, or Thomas and Jacob. Gavin, do you have a wristband too,
yes,
armband too? I can never remember if the goalkeeper wears one or not. But just got some action shots there of you guys going at it. There's Hudson and Cash, and that's another thing. You guys are the senior leadership on this team. It's you, and then Jack's a senior. You two. There's the whole squad right there. When you look at the full team, but you two, and then Jack Trosper, and then Grayson is also a senior, right? But how much pressure do y'all feel? Because we're a pretty young team. When you look at it, 4 seniors is not, on a team that size, 4 seniors is not a big group. So, what's y'all's mentality of mentoring these younger ones to carry the torch next year and the year after, so that soccer continues to be successful here at Henry County?
Well, for one, we joke around a lot with everybody, obviously, but the most important thing to me is, just making sure that each player can be the best version of themselves.
Sure.
I feel like that's what will really, help the program succeed for many years. If just everybody strives to be the best they can, I feel like that'll help.
Sure.
Yeah, going back to me and Jacob's freshman year, we came out, we won, we went to sub-state. That was the first time we've done that in school history. Next year we won district. We didn't make it as far, so, it just showing them that, you always want to win. I know right now, like y'all mentioned, that we have the most winning season in Henry County High School soccer history. So showing them that, winning just needs to become a normalcy around here.
Right.
is something that is important to, I think, all of us.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second, and Coach, you jump in here on this too. But having the winningest season in Henry County history is impressive. It's something to be proud of, right? Nobody else at this point can say they're better than what y'all are. It doesn't mean anything come tomorrow, because brand new season starts and it's win or go home, right? Until you get to that district championship game, and then you make it, you're guaranteed a region spot. But then in the region, same thing. You don't win, your season's over. So y'all may be the most successful team ever, but I get the feeling that y'all aren't satisfied with just being the most successful team ever.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I'm come to Henry County just to get knocked out in the district all the time, So, not that they do that all the time. I'm not saying that, but, wins are great, and that builds your confidence. And, but, usually if you ask me our record during the middle of the season, I couldn't tell you because I don't keep up with the regular season record. That's awesome that we've done that. It's definitely stuff to build off of. But I think one thing that the players can do that'll help, later is just keep coming back, being around the program. Me and Coach Beard, we inherited a really good squad, you don't get just a striker like Jacob and a goalkeeper like Gavin all the time.
It doesn't luckily fall in your lap.
No, you got goals are the hardest thing to do in soccer. Score goals, and then the second hardest thing is to keep goals out of the net. And we got 2 seniors, so that goes to Coach Baldo and all their travel coaches and stuff that's put in a lot of time with them and stuff as well. We got to ride the wave for 1 year, and I'm glad they've been receptive and been highly coachable, and they want to win, they want to compete. One thing that's pretty cool about Henry County is that we have good athletes and they specialize in their sport. Me and Coach Beard, we probably come from schools where soccer might not be their main sport, right? If you get a good athlete and stuff, but we got in multiple grades like some high performing athletes that like soccer's their main thing. So it's pretty cool to be a part of that.
So talk about, you said this is your first year at Henry County. Where were you before Henry County, and what were you doing there?
So I was at Huntingdon, and that's where I went to high school. And I was coaching boys basketball, boys soccer, and golf at the time. So
you're also, you not only help with soccer, you're an assistant coach this year for the Lady Patriots.
Yes, sir.
And so you're a busy guy that you're like, I think you just enjoy sports and enjoy helping and passing on the knowledge that you have to these youngsters and making them the best that they can be, right?
Yes, sir. And working in multiple sports, it helps you in all different aspects. There's soccer aspects that spill over into basketball, and there's basketball aspects that spill over into soccer. At the end of the day, teaching them how to compete, how to work together as a team, that stuff transcends sports. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, soccer. So
the first time I met Coach Poole, I was refereeing over in Huntingdon, and it was Huntingdon's may have been the first season.
That was a rough one.
It was a rough one. So funny story or touching story, then funny story. So getting to watch Coach Poole with Huntingdon's development over those first 2 or 3 seasons, they progressively got better and better and better, and a lot of it was time spent with them, because all Huntingdon had was a recreation program that was early stages.
Sure.
So Coach Poole and the staff over there did a phenomenal job of that, and you can see that same time spent with Coach Poole with girls basketball and with the soccer team here, which has been fun to watch. But I'll be honest with you. Do you remember when Ted Lasso first came out and they were advertising it with Premier League on NBC? Yeah. There was a scene where he was running up the sideline going, what's that, offside? What is that? And there was a couple of times where that was the exact conversation that Coach Poole and I had. He may have even slipped in that's a violation a time or two. But so that was a fun time to say the least.
Well, there's a lot of the cool thing about the soccer in West Tennessee. There's a lot of coaches that really gave a lot of advice.
Sure. And
there's a lot of referees that gave a lot of advice too, right. Like, you know, yourself included. So I mean, sometimes I would be like, you know, asking like not to be smart, but like literally just all right, what's the exact rule on this? Right. I tell everybody I was a YouTube soccer coach, okay. You know, so the opportunity presented itself and I was educating myself on YouTube. And now, you know, working under Coach Beard, it's actually, I get to kind of sit back and, you know, take stuff in just like the players are taking in and stuff. So it's a cool learning experience.
Yeah, Coach Beard was, I mean, he had more coaching experience, but one of my first interactions with Coach Beard, it was a very similar conversation. I was refereeing, and something, I forget exactly what it was that happened. It was on the opposite side of the field, but I was standing right next to him. And I leaned over to him, and he said nothing. Like, he was just calm, cool, and collected. And I said, "Man, you really I mean, if you let me have it, I'm good with it. Like, I'm not going to say a word," and never did. But we've seen that happen too during the girls' season with a couple of instances, which are kind of fun to watch. You know, being on the parent on the sideline watching it all happen too. So, yeah, the family tree in the soccer world in West Tennessee is pretty narrow. You know,
that brings up a good point that all of y'all can comment on is like Coach Beard seems pretty calm, cool, and collected on the sidelines at all times, and you can tell if there's something he's not happy with, a call or whatever, and you don't really see him get that animated. And so if he ever does, you know that it's something that's a big deal to him. Like, what's a big deal to Coach Beard?
Something honestly like. Even for him and for us, is like something you're very passionate about. Like, he's passionate about soccer, he's passionate about coaching, obviously. So, you know, if he doesn't like the call or if he doesn't like anything specific, then he's going to get angry about it.
Like, what's the worst you've seen him on the sidelines in a calm, collected, yelling? Was it something you did, something somebody else did? And don't call any names.
Yeah, I think he's been more mad at us than the officials this season. I mean, he'll yell at us. He's not afraid to do that.
Okay. It's just passion, though, right? I mean,
passion.
You want somebody who's passionate, because if they don't care, then why should you, right?
Exactly.
And so it's good to hear that we have that kind of leadership, and I know, like I said, it's just fun to watch y'all play, and it's fun to be out there. I try to listen to the conversations and the coaching that's going on. I know he's pretty vocal on the sidelines. Yeah, we've got some more photos there. I think that one on the left is after a goal, and then just some other action shots. I had to throw one of Case in there just because, you know, he's my boy and I'm proud of him. So
one thing they did really good this year, and I hope they keep it up and it keeps going over, is the start of the season. I think during the scrimmages, maybe after the first scrimmage, score a goal and there might be one person like giving a high five, and then everyone else is like catching their breath standing and stuff. I was like, you just did the hardest thing you can do on a soccer field. Like, go celebrate with your teammates. Like, that's where you want the good energy and the enthusiasm, and they've been, you know, spectacular at that. Gavin runs, he gets his, you know, mile in. You know, the more we score, the more he gets to run and across the field. He'll go to the other corner and stuff and get in with them. So
now he did get to play against Westview and looked like he was having a great time out there in a non-goalie position. Was that fun?
It was fun until Coach Poole here stuck me at 6, and I had to run in the most running position you can in soccer. So.
You got pretty close to some goals, though. I mean, you had a little bit, couple opportunities there, right?
I try to give some Grayson and Caden a goal. You know, they didn't have one this season, so I try to help them out a little bit.
He was unselfish, for
ultimate teammate right there, right? Hey, listen, we got to take a break. We'll come back, and we're going to talk some more soccer with these guys, including, as Coach Poole said, both of these guys have signed to play at the next level. And so that is not something you see every day in Henry County, so we'll talk about that and get their perspective on it and learn some more about them. But first, let's hear from our sponsors once again.
Hey friends, Junior Staggs with Auctioneer University, and I can't tell you how excited I am to be one of the sponsors of a brand new show that's going to be produced by my friends at Brewer Street Mafia and Kel Media. It's called SportsCast with Jeremy Buckelew. It'll be recorded live every Sunday night at 7:30. So if you're into sports, I like Alabama football. Maybe you're a Tennessee fan. Maybe you're into one of those foreign sports like soccer or cricket or rugby. I'm sure he'll cover it all, from local sports to professional sports and everything in between, every Sunday night, 7:30. While you're at it, go over there and give him a like. And if you're thinking about becoming an auctioneer, check out our website, Auctioneer U. That's auctioneer, the letter U.com.
In a world that moves way too fast, there's one place that feels like home. Tater's Place in Paris, Tennessee, where the sizzle of a smash burger meets the sound of laughter, and every plate tells a story. Bring the family, make memories, and taste the love in every bite. Live music, real people, and unforgettable food. That's Tater's Place, 3615 Highway 79 North. Find the flavor you've been missing at Tater's Place. Come and feel what you've been hungry for.
Are you looking for a fence that gives you peace of mind? At All Star Fence Company, we don't just build fences, we build confidence. Whether it's keeping your family safe, protecting your property, or simply adding curb appeal, All Star delivers unmatched quality, dependable service, and lasting results. Locally owned and trusted across West Tennessee, Kentucky, and beyond, we're the name homeowners count on for reliability and strength since 1971. All Star Fence Company, your first line of defense and your best choice for peace of mind. Visit allstarfenceandsupply.com today.
Back here on Sportscast with Jeremy Buckelew, we've got special host Sam McDaniel with me this week, and then from Henry County Soccer, Coach Dylan Poole and Gavin Evans and Jacob Davis. Got ahead of myself there. Sorry about that, but just talking some soccer here this evening in the Brewer Street Mafia studios. And so, guys, we had mentioned that, Jacob, you're committed and signed to play at Union next year. And then, Gavin, you're playing in Kentucky. What's the, Kentucky Christian? That's what I thought. Okay, Kentucky Christian University. And so, talk about, like, you know, Sam had a good point off air of just the development that y'all have had over the years. So, when did y'all start playing soccer? Where have you played soccer? What clubs and travel and that kind of stuff? And just take a moment to give us a rundown of what it takes to not only be the leading goal scorer in the state and one of the top goalies in the state of Tennessee, but then to pursue that and go on to the next level and play as well. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, thank you, Jake.
Well, I started playing when I was about 4, but it was really all recreationally until I think it was about my 8th grade year of soccer. That's when it started to get a little more serious for me.
Okay.
So I played for a travel team out of Huntington. You know, it was just nothing really serious, but it was still, you know, a step up from what I was used to.
So where would y'all play? So just about every weekend, I assume, somewhere?
Just tournaments here and there.
Okay.
I mean, whenever we really could. And then it was my freshman year that I went to a camp at Bethel, and their coach, Coach JJ, who is a travel coach down at Jackson, he asked me to come play for a state league team.
Okay.
And so we made the jump from Huntington to Jackson 3 times a week, played state league, and then my freshman year we actually won state, got to go to Dallas, Texas that summer.
Wow.
It was fun, you know, and just developing through them I feel like is what helped me the most, because it took me to the next level. And, you know, I made a lot of connections there, a lot of college coaches. And then this past year, my coach was actually the assistant coach for Union. He liked what he saw from me and decided that I'd be a good fit for their program, and I believe the same. And
awesome.
So made it official.
We talk about all the time that, I don't know, it's a low percentage. It's like 3% or maybe even less than that of kids who play high school sports will go on to play at the next level. Like I said, we got 2 of them sitting here with us tonight. And so, Gavin, talk about yours a little bit and how you started out and how you ended up at Kentucky Christian.
Yeah, so I started I believe on the same team with Jacob when we were little.
Were y'all any good?
Nope.
Not at all.
They really enjoyed the fruit snacks.
That's like the when you listen.
Afterwards.
I say it all the time because I used to coach rec league soccer, and so if you can keep all the kids on the field for the whole game, especially at 4 years old, that is a win in and of it. Forget the goal scored, forget all the other soccer business. If you have 5 players or however many they play at that age still on the field when the game is over, that is a win. So,
and to clarify, we're not talking injuries. We're talking they were picking a flower off the field and then they broke down crying. A butterfly. Their mom told them that they looked cute in their uniform and it embarrassed them, so they ran off. Those sort of things.
Yeah. So go ahead. 4 years old, y'all are on the same team. That's awesome. So go ahead.
So I played rec for a little bit after that, and then I took a break for a few years, and then I started playing rec again, and then me and Jacob ended up on the same travel team again. It was a Chaos. So we played that, and then I took a break from travel again till my sophomore year, and I played for King's Hammer out of Nashville. So like Jacob, that drive is a lot. So
how many days a week did you?
3 times a week.
3 times a week you were going to Nashville.
So I went with our teammates that graduated last year, Brian and Antonio.
Okay.
So we all rode together. We were on the same team. Went to tournaments, Gatlinburg. We went to Alabama. So that was enjoyable. And then my junior year, so last year or this past season, in the fall, I played for a team called Stones River. They were also in Nashville. So we went to Alabama, not Gatlinburg. We just went to Alabama and had a few tournaments in Nashville. So that's kind of how my journey started. And then I got a text from the Kentucky Christian University goalkeeper coach, and he asked me if I can come down for a visit. So I went down. They liked what they saw, and that's just it from there.
Where is Kentucky Christian University? I know it's in East Kentucky, but where is it exactly?
It's kind of like at the northern part of Kentucky. It's about 6 hours from here, but it's about 20 minutes from Ashland, Kentucky. That's about the biggest town next to it. So
6 hours isn't terrible.
Not bad.
No, that's fine.
I slept most of the way there, but it's not bad.
Y'all both talked about playing in Nashville and Jackson 3 days a week. Like that takes a huge commitment from not only you guys but from your family, right? To make sure that y'all are there. And I know both of you have outstanding parents and wouldn't be where you are today if it weren't for them. So just talk about their support of you over the last 12 years or 14 years of your life in soccer, and what they've done to make sure that y'all are where you need to be and have what you need to have to play.
No, it is a big commitment on their part, just time-wise, financially, all that, and it mostly came from them believing in me. I mean, they saw something in me, they believed, and really they just wanted me to have fun.
Sure.
So everything they did, they just made sure that I was having fun through it, that I was enjoying it, because if I wasn't enjoying it, they weren't going to spend all that time and money on me.
That makes sense, though, right? So
yeah. So I mean, same thing. Like my parents just really supported me throughout the way, and they have that talk with me every now and then. And you'll see a lot of stories online of like kids just getting pressured to play, and that pressure gets to them. So my parents, they still have that talk with me every now and again, but especially like in the beginning, like, do you like to play? Do you want to play? So that way they didn't feel like they were pressuring me at all. But, it's, like he said, just big commitment from them. The financial part of the thing, it isn't easy to take off work.
Right.
4 o'clock in the afternoon, we had to head down to practice at 7 all the way in Nashville. So
late nights getting back.
For sure, and, tired the next day.
Yeah,
and it's a huge commitment from the parent. I mean, you're not lying on that. I mean, aside from the 3 days a week, it's on tournament weekends, you're traveling. For teams that these guys played on, they were traveling 4 or 5 hours away. So in some cases, playing hotels, three meals a day out, and those meals are not juice jammers and orange slices at all. So plus equipment. I mean just the equipment that these guys are using from a specialization standpoint, goalkeeper gloves, their boots. I mean, $1,000 easy just to equip them with what they need to play at the level that they're playing at. Sure. So, any parent that is carting their kid all over the country, big props to them. But especially in this case. Their parents have put a lot on the line to get them here, for sure.
Coach, what you gonna say about that?
I had a question for y'all. So I heard the word fun, which is great. What did y'all play any other sports in middle school or anything like that? Like, it seemed like y'all were a little bit later before y'all really were all in, and that's it.
I mean, I played basketball in middle school, but I mean, that was really, I guess, for fun. But I still took soccer more seriously than that throughout middle school.
At what point did you get? And Gavin, I want to let you. Did you play anything else as well?
Not middle school. Just when I was younger, I played like recreational basketball and baseball here.
Like, at what point did y'all decide? Okay, I'm going all in on soccer. Like, when did you make that realization, and how old were you when you decided this is what I want to focus on, and this is what I want to not necessarily build your career on, but I mean, obviously your high school athletic career is built on soccer. When did y'all make that decision?
So my freshman year, a week, funny story, like a week before tryouts, I decided to make the switch to goalkeeper. And to be honest, I don't know how I made the team. I was not good. I'll be the first one to admit that. Even my sophomore year, like I didn't have the greatest season. I didn't have really a good season at all. And after that season, I really enjoyed playing goalkeeper. So when I went to play travel, to me, I really improved from where I was my high school sophomore year to the beginning of my junior year. Yeah. So really, that first travel season I had, serious travel season I had at sophomore year, really was when I knew, this is what I wanted to do. This is what I want to do at the next level.
Gotcha.
It was my freshman year, too. I mean, I had to decide whether or not I wanted to keep playing basketball or not, and I realized that I was not very good at basketball to keep spending that much time into it, and rather focus on the sport I enjoyed more and that I was better at.
Gotcha. Coach, we talk about, you're with these guys every day, just about. How have you seen them change, even just in a year? And I'm not just talking about Jacob and Gavin. I'm talking about the whole team, as from summer workouts all the way up until district tournament that starts tomorrow. Just talk about this team a little bit and what makes them special, and why they're in the position that they're in.
Well, again, I think it starts with, and it's not just the seniors, but you have players in every grade that care about soccer. Like, they want to personally improve. They care about winning. They watch soccer, so there's been a couple of film sessions where, Coach Beard started 20 minutes later to finish a Champions League game and stuff. And, that's actually a tough thing to do, is to get high schoolers to watch sports, like you see that more with the girls and stuff. But, so the fact that they like to soak in all that stuff, right? But I think the way that they have grown, I feel like they've all matured on the field. Off the field, they still have a really good time. Like I said, Jacob and Jack, Gavin, Grayson, those four, they bring a good vibe. They bring a good energy to the sidelines, and they have fun and cut up. And, boys, I got a little spoiled with girls, and, then boys do give you a little more headaches, now and then, but they keep it interesting and keep it fun. But I think they've matured on the field after a couple of those district games. It's okay, we kind of have the target on our back, and we can't react to other teams, right, trying to bring us down to their level. Mm-hmm. So I'd just say kind of on the field attitude and just kind of how they carry themselves has really matured over the season. So.
I mean, and that's a big part of it, right? Because it's not like football that you're so close, and soccer's, it's not as fast paced as some other sports. It's not basketball where you're up and down the floor all the time, right? And so you've really got to have your head in the game to stay in the game the entire time, I think, anyway, because, you could very easily, if the offense has the ball on their end of the field and they are controlling the ball, and, Jacob's down there just breaking guys' ankles and whatnot, you could very easily just kind of doze off back there in your half of the field. And the same goes if the defense is having a great game and we're playing a really good offensive squad, that, Jacob, you're just waiting, kind of letting them do their thing until they can get the ball to you. But, I mean, you have to stay locked in the whole time. And I think maturity is a lot of that, what the requirement is to be as good as y'all are, and there are no gaps in that mindset throughout the game. And so go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just like, I mean, targets on our back this year. We're the number one in the district, and we want that to be every year.
Sure.
Where that's the consistency we're building. And, like I said, reacting to adversity and reacting to different stuff like that, like just keep improving that. It's been a learning process that we survived, and we just need to make sure we learn from it. And, nothing like that comes back to bite us, when the tournament starts.
Ask y'all this, Sam, you jumped on this too. How much do y'all think having professional soccer come to Nashville has helped soccer programs around? Because, like I said, y'all watch soccer. Obviously, now you mentioned the Champions League, and that's all European soccer, I believe, and whatnot. But, I mean, we have, Nashville did pretty well last year. My favorite soccer story, I'll tell real quick, is that when Miami and Nashville played in the what's the championship cup that they played in last year? I can't even remember.
Gold Cup.
The League Cup.
The League Cup, I think, yeah. And so Messi was going to be in Nashville. And so I started immediately, well, Case loves watching soccer and playing, obviously, and thought, I'm going to try to get tickets. And so I knew that tickets were going to be outrageous when Messi's coming to town, right? And so started contacting folks that I knew because there was a pre-sale code that was going to be sent out by Ticketmaster for season ticket holders. And so started reaching out to folks and like, no, I hadn't got the code, or no, I don't know, whatever. And then just so happened to think of, I knew that David Tater Hayes, one of our sponsors, thank you, Tater, was a season ticket holder for Nashville. And so he was over here at the shop. My dad was just hanging out, and they were talking. I said, hey, ask Tater if he has gotten that pre-sale code to buy the tickets early to go see Messi this week. And he's like, well, he doesn't, but he said you can just buy his tickets. I thought, oh, okay. And so I had assumed what ticket prices would be, and he said, my dad texted back. I said, well, ask him what he wants for him. Let's just get an idea. And he said he'll take face value for what he paid for him. So I got 4 tickets to go see Messi in Nashville for $65 a ticket, because the luckiest ticket find I have ever, and bless Tater's heart, if he wasn't such a good guy, he could have very easily, because I think my dad was telling me like 10 minutes after he had sold me his ticket for face value, that somebody from Nashville called him and was like, hey, man, if you're not going, I can get $1,000 a ticket for your tickets right now. And he's like, well, I already sold them to this guy here in town. So we got to go see Messi in Nashville. We've been to a couple of we're going in June to watch the men's national team. We went to see them last year. How much do y'all think that has contributed to the growth of soccer in Tennessee?
You've asked a loaded question, but yeah, Jacob and Gavin can definitely start.
I think it's helped a lot. I think soccer in the United States in general is growing to a massive extent, and I think that from here on we're only going up. So I think it's helped a lot, really, just kind of exposing this kind of area to the sport. Getting everybody on board with it, because I mean it gives more, I guess, viewership to it, and I think it's helped a lot.
So, Gavin, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so I mean, we have over 320 plus soccer high school soccer teams in Tennessee. One of the new ones, Clarksburg, which is about 20 minutes away from here, near Huntington, where Coach Poole started. So, it's just gonna continue to grow, especially with all the younger talent, like overseas. Like you got 14, 15, 16-year-olds starting now for some of the biggest clubs in the world. So.
I was fixing. Who's the kid that's the phenom now that played last week that everybody was?
Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, that kid. He's like, 16 or something like that, and playing professional soccer.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you're right. It definitely, it's a growing sport. There's no doubt about that. Anybody with eyes can see that, and popularity and everything else is picking up. And
it's been fun to watch, and hopefully some friends of mine that may scold me for this if they ever find out I was on the show. But you look back at the history lesson, like when the U.S. hosted the World Cup in '94.
Sure.
the soccer population in the country doubled plus. It was an explosion, right? Because that was the first time that we had seen a lot of the international stars make an appearance. Fast forward to '99 and the Women's World Cup that was hosted here. Everybody remembers Brandi Chastain after she scores puts the kick from the mark in the back of the net, ripping off her shirt and twirling it around, and that made SI covers, and that exploded the women's side of the game. The projections for the World Cup that we will host in 26 are a very similar growth projection. So at the state level, they're talking about we don't have enough fields to accommodate the growth that is expected, and we're seeing that. Like Clarksburg is taking on soccer. Brewston is taking on soccer. Places in West Tennessee and these are places in West Tennessee that 20 years ago never saw a soccer ball. Right. I mean, they might have saw one at the Huntington Walmart, but to play it, definitely not. There's a lot of discussion right now nationally and even at the state level. Nashville SC coming into town has been great. They're not minor league teams, but the lower level professional teams that have been in Knoxville, Nashville, Memphis over time, and then even the semi-pro amateur teams that are in various parts across the state, including Jackson. Everybody's trying to answer how to meet the development and get U.S. We're great at football, right? I mean, we're world champions, and there's nobody that could touch us. Baseball is very similar. Basketball is similar, but we are racing against countries that have been playing the game for decades, longer than we have. And they've got a system that's very grassroots, that's very that we don't have in place yet. Sure. So we've got the rec side that's good and has its place, but the Europeans do it, and the South Americans do a great job of taking those kids that are running around with no shoes on, kicking a soccer ball in a dirt field, and turning them into national sensations. Here, we're still very much you've got to have a certain level of income, and you've got to have a certain time commitment to make it onto some of these teams that are traveling, regionally and nationally. So to bring it all back, yes, it's helped, but there's a lot more that we have to do because we are in the country that we're in to get us to that point where the women's side, we figured it out, right? Because, I mean, we are consistently top 2, top 3 in the world, but we've got a long way to go for the guys' side. But, yeah, it's helped. I mean, it's helped in big ways.
Go ahead, Coach.
You brought up basketball, too, and it seems like it's almost a little parallel. The more European influence you have with basketball, like think of the superstars you've got Giannis, you've got Luka, you got Jokic, and even 10, 15 years before, even Kobe, grew up in Italy, grew up abroad, and Steve Nash, like they could dribble soccer balls just like they could dribble basketballs and stuff. And so the more European influence you get into NBA, it does seem like the American influence in soccer is growing more. So, their style of play is more like soccer. European basketball is more like soccer. It's more free flowing. It's smoother. It's less rock and roll than American, where it's more athleticism, strength, speed, stuff like that. So that's an interesting aspect on it.
And it's cool to see the development from a 30,000 foot view. We've got pro athletes that are investing back into soccer teams stateside. Multiple investors with teams that have interesting ties to it. Why does a LeBron James invest in Liverpool? because he can.
Which
right?
won the Premier League, by the way.
Yeah.
So I'm a
Right.
Liverpool fan.
But we've got and we've got more Americans that are investing in soccer globally than we ever have. So, to your point, yeah, you're absolutely right that it's the inverse of what's happening with basketball. You know, the European style is creeping in. We're no longer the guaranteed win at the Olympics, you know, that we used to be.
Sure.
And I think we'll get there with time. It's just a matter of what that looks like. You know, how do we get a 4-year-old that's sitting in Paris, Tennessee, playing rec, worrying about his juice jammer and orange slices, to want to develop and have the means and the resources locally to develop into somebody that's playing at a national level of some sort, right?
I will say there is a football that is played barefoot by little kids when they're 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that is, you know, on Friday nights. You know,
Sure.
like that. More kids go out and play. You don't have to have the equipment. You don't have to have a ref. You can go play pickup.
Right.
Like go make that grass into dirt because you play so much on it.
Sure.
So kids do it on Friday nights. They can do it anytime.
Absolutely.
So
Coach Renee Laster is watching. Okay.
I give her a shout out.
And she wants to know how much coffee you drink in a day. And we were talking about that before the show, actually. You're a nighttime coffee drinker, which is, don't worry about having to go to sleep or anything like that. So go ahead. How much coffee you drink in a day, Coach?
In the morning, I brew a pot of coffee, which it says, 12 cups on it, and I pour into, one mug, and it's got a seal on it, and then I'll pour it into, another mug.
Okay.
And so I fill those two up, and I'll drink one before lunch, and I'll drink one after lunch. And if we have a late night game in Clarksville or something, there's a coffee pot in the assistant coach's office. I might make me one more mug of it. So, I say a pot. 12 cups sounds more than a pot. So I try to say,
So you're a pot a day drinker.
Yeah,
That's,
a pot
that's,
a day
that's
drinker.
fine. Nothing wrong with
I
that.
can't say I know anybody that drinks coffee at night though.
I'd be up till 3 or 4 in the morning if I tried it. So
Seems counter-effective.
yeah,
it keeps you going. I mean, you work all day, you just keep going. When your head hits the bed, I go sleep pretty easy.
Okay.
About 10:30, 11. So.
Well, guys, appreciate you being on. We're just about out of time. But again, congratulations on where you've gotten so far this season, and we're looking forward to how much further you can go. And that is in your hands, right, Coach? I mean, we'll talk about that just real quick. I don't have a lot of time, but like y'all have done your part. Like y'all got them ready. Talk about your philosophy on when it comes game time. Y'all can shout instructions and give advice, but it's up to them to go out and perform.
Yeah, for sure. There's no timeouts in soccer, so there's no if we come out flat in a game, we have to survive until the second half if they don't make the adjustment themselves on the field. So that's really influenced me basketball wise too, because you have to have your players prepared before the game starts, and our players are very good at taking in information and sticking to the scouting report and stuff. Star Challenges has been in between the ears quite, every now and then. Just
how difficult is that to just real quick? Again, we've got some time and we can go as long as we want to go, actually, but just talk about that and how, as a coach, y'all approach that and keeping mindsets where they need to be and clear heads and not panicking when something doesn't go perfect.
Yeah, but it's a challenge because now you have max preps and it's gotten bigger. And I think high school players, I didn't know hardly any team we were playing. We didn't have huddle was a new thing, and definitely max preps was very new. Maybe had Coach T, but I don't think anybody did much with basketball or soccer. But not knowing the outcome before the game's played. Oh, this team's only won 2 games. We can come out flat. Who cares? So, the the coaches that can motivate the best, find reasons to get their players up and stuff, they're probably the most successful coaches. And there's different ways to do it. You got to feel your guys out. I mean, you can't lie to them and be like, oh, this is the toughest team we're going to play all year if they've only won a few games. But luckily
they can turn it into the toughest game they've played all year.
And there were some games where, we probably should have won by more than what we did. And so that's, constantly reminding them, hey, we've been in this situation before. Let's not put ourselves in a bad situation again. And my philosophy on luck is having good luck is doing the things that put you in a good position all the time. So, like the Kenwood goal, you could say that was the lucky goal. Well, okay, they got a lucky goal, but we did enough stuff right throughout the game where we can survive one bad luck, one bad mistake. If we had been doing worse the whole game, we could have lost 1-0, So, but motivating them for that. But they're pretty driven, like they want to win, they want to go far. People will remember the wins, but people will remember the championships more. Sure. So that'll be what we're wanting. So,
well, you've got your opportunity this week, right? Like I said, second season starts basically tomorrow, but we'll play Tuesday night. So I'm going to let you guys tell the folks, a lot of folks watching, Tuesday night, place to be is Patriot Stadium to watch some Henry County soccer.
Yes, sir. Students get in free.
Students get in free. What time is the game? 6 o'clock? 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, and you'll play the winner of Northwest and Kenwood. And so, again, I don't remember what the final was in the Northwest game, but Kenwood we just defeated. So, that's another thing with, and Coach, again, with district, you see this. It's great to be undefeated in the regular season, but I mean, it really doesn't mean much when it comes tournament time. Like, all of these guys are going to be ready to come to Henry County and upset Henry County because they all hate us that much.
Yeah, well, and just learning from the boys' basketball season. I mean, if you think about it, you had the 5 seed make it to the district championship. Yeah. I think it was Northwest boys play against Henry County.
Right.
The boys' soccer is structured very similar to boys basketball, where any team can win on any given night. So, the fact that we are undefeated is it's a tough district. Sure. You got to come to play every time, and that should be something we keep in the back of our mind is, they're all competent teams, and catch you on the wrong night, could be going home early.
Absolutely. So 7 o'clock on Tuesday night out at Patriot Stadium. Come out and check out these guys as they continue their winning ways and march towards not only a district championship, but a region championship and then a sub-state, and be the first team to ever, soccer-wise, I think, go to state, right? That's the goal. And so the talent's there. It's just putting it all together.
One step at a time. But hey, and just wanted to shout out your show. I think it's great what you're doing, and I learned from the Inman coaches. I learned from, Special Olympics coaches. I learned from Coach Lassiter. I learned from Coach Wolf. I took away something from every show. So, if you're spreading some knowledge and people can pick some stuff up from it, that's really awesome.
Like I said, we're just trying to have some fun with it. We're trying to, years ago when I got started in radio, there was a sports show on Saturday mornings, and I think people enjoyed it and likes hearing from you guys, because where else? With social media now, I guess y'all could get on anywhere, but a lot of us old heads, we're used to the old way of doing things, and we're just trying to bring a quality product to the folks of Henry and surrounding counties. It's been mainly Henry County focused as of now, but we're trying to branch out and see where that takes us. But we're enjoying it, and I enjoy having all of you guys come on and just sit down and talk for an hour about what you got going on in life and sports and all that stuff. It's fun to me. That's what I do all the time. If I could make this my full-time job, I certainly would. But right now, that's not an option. So,
hey, could I ask you a question before we go?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Them two are going to college. So what's your advice on them for going to college?
Well, I've got one that just graduated last year, and I got one that's a freshman this year finishing up her first year. I guess, I don't know, my advice would be to go to class. Like, you're not going to have someone there over your shoulder every minute when you wake up to make sure you get out the door and get where you're supposed to be. You get to be an adult, and so be an adult. Get up, go to class, be where you're supposed to be, and the rest will take care of itself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would say, high school's great with relationships and developing, that next phase, but I think it amplifies itself with college and or whatever that next step post high school is. So take the time to develop the relationships and, like Jeremy said, show up, do the work, and the rest will take care of itself.
Absolutely. So. And everything. That's your schoolwork, that's your practices. If you're just take advantage of office hours. Get to know your professors because they want to know you. I think one of the main things that some of the best advice that anybody's ever given my kids was that first day of class, go up and introduce yourself to the professors so they learn who you are and learn a name with a face, and you'll be surprised at how well that helps you out throughout the semester. So that's another thing is let your professors know who you are. Don't just be a face in the crowd. So, all right. Guys, it's like this. Maybe I think it's the longest show we've done. Kevin and then we're in the back are going to be ready to throw us out of here. I could go another hour myself, but
in honor of our many trips together, Jeremy, there are pork rinds in the back for Kevin. So if he's munching on them right now, he's probably okay.
Good deal. I do want to thank Kevin and Scott in the back for bringing you the show tonight, as they always do. They do a great job. Thanks to Mike Weatherford. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Auctioneer U, Taters, All-Star Fence. Thanks to Shelter Insurance and Patriot Plumbing as well for their sponsorships. And thank you guys for joining me tonight. I know y'all probably had other stuff to do on a Saturday night, especially the Sunday night after prom, especially. Would rather be in bed. Jacob's over here halfway yawning. I think he's ready to hit the hay.
They'd probably be playing Rocket League or something like that.
You got to play FIFA? Case is always up playing FIFA against somebody. So anyway, I appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you so much. Again, you are fun to watch. So I encourage the folks of Henry County to get out Tuesday night and watch these kids do their thing out at Patriot Stadium at 7 o'clock against whoever it is that has to drive through that gate to play them. Next week is Mother's Day. We have a Mother's Day special. I'll have on Renee Laster will be my special co-host. Sorry, Sam, you get booted out of the seat next week.
I'm okay with that.
And then Carrie Jackson and Shannon Osborne are going to be on to talk about just being the athletes, being moms of athletes, and special Mother's Day. And with that, be on the lookout because we have a special giveaway. We are going to be giving away a $100 gift certificate to the Flower Station. And so there will be instructions on our social media pages on how you can win that. And so be sure to be looking for that this week. And then we'll give that away next week. But Mother's Day special, Sunday, May 11th, Carrie Jackson and Shannon Osborne. Maybe even have some special guests show up for that. But Coach Renee Laster is going to be co-hosting that with me, and I'm looking forward to that. So until then, this has been SportsCast with Jeremy Buckelew. We thank you for joining in. Again, thanks you guys for stopping by, and we will see you next week, same time, right here, 7:30 Sunday night from the Brewer Street Mafia Studios. SportsCast, Jeremy Buckelew. See you next week. Thanks, guys.